Okay, so for me, every single year, it's been a massive pain to do crypto taxes because it feels like all crypto tax software is built for people that primarily use Coinbase or people who primarily use Binance or people who just do really simple transactions. And being that I almost exclusively transact on chain, I use a ton of different wallets, I use a ton of different blockchains, and I do a lot of really complex transactions, it can be extremely difficult for me to find good tax software that works. So this year, I decided to try almost every single piece of crypto tax software out there, hoping to find one that would actually work for me. It wasn't a complete nightmare to use. And one of them ended up being a clear winner and was head and shoulders better than the rest. And to be clear, this video isn't sponsored. I have no financial motivation to put the rankings this way. I have an affiliate link for one of the projects, but it's not my favorite one or even my second or third favorite one, okay? It's just the only one I have an affiliate link for. This is my honest assessment. Okay, so first off, I'm gonna be ranking across a few different categories. First off, I'm gonna be ranking the best software for those who primarily use exchanges like Coinbase and Binance. I'm also gonna do the best software for advanced users like me who primarily interact on chain or interacting across all kinds of different blockchains and doing more complicated stuff. Another category is gonna be the best software for somebody who wants everything done for them. They don't even wanna have to deal with all these things. They just wanna pay somebody to do all their crypto taxes for them. And then of course, we're gonna have best overall in show, like the best crypto tax software out there. Somebody's gonna claim that coveted title. You're gonna find out who in this video. And hopefully across all these categories, you're gonna be able to find the best crypto tax software depending on what your needs are. Okay, so first off, let's take a look at Coinly. Coinly was the tax software I used last year and was my previous all-time favorite. However, this year, Coinly has lost that coveted #1 position to a new up-and-coming piece of crypto tax software. I don't even know if it's up and coming, but it's a new one that I found. Coinly is still, however, a decent choice for those who maybe have a little bit less complicated tax setups. Let's dive into the pros and cons when it comes to Coinly. We'll start off with the pros, or the things that I like about Coinly. First off, the dashboard section is really nice and just has a clean UI UX. Coinly also has a tax optimization section, which is amazing as it lets you know when you can harvest tax loss in order to offset gains. Overall, the software for Coinly is just really easy to understand and navigate. The software also does a really decent job labeling transactions and mostly gets it right. Although it does miss enough transactions that I have to spend quite a lot of time, hours and hours, going through and fixing and labeling transactions. The last pro for Coinly is that it supports most networks and wallets. So if you use, Ethereum or you use Solana or whatever, you can typically go in and add those networks to Coinly and you shouldn't have an issue. Now let's jump into some of the cons when it comes to using Coinly. First off, although you can add most networks, the downside to Coinly is that you have to add each network individually. For example, you might have one address for Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, Ethereum, BNB, etc. Well, when it comes to Coinly, you have to literally enter that address for Binance and set up that, wallet. Then you have to go and set it up for Arbitrum. Then you have to go and set up for Optimism. And literally every network that you use with that address, you have to set up a separate network connection for that wallet. And being that I have a lot of different wallet addresses and I use a lot of different networks, this can be a real pain. There are a ton of tools out there like Nansen, you have DBank, where you can just plug in your wallet address and it loads all the token balances and all the transactions across every chain you use that address for. So I know the technology's out there to be able to do this, but for some reason, Coinly has not implemented this into their software, and they make you manually go through every single network, and it really is super annoying and one of the worst parts about using Coinly. Secondly, navigating the transactions in Coinly can be a real pain. For example, if you know something is off with your taxes and you're trying to figure out what it is, finding that thing can be really difficult. There's not a really easy way to sort through the transactions and find the type of transaction you're looking for where it maybe was mislabeled by Coinly. Also, when you have transactions maybe aren't labeled properly, or Coinly is saying, hey, you need to go label these transactions because we don't know what they are, it's really difficult to figure out what those transactions are. I don't remember what those transactions were. I have to go through on chain, I have to look on the block explorer, I have to look through my notes and all kinds of stuff to figure out what the heck this transaction was, because they don't make it really easy to understand these things. They don't give you a lot of context around those transactions. And both of those complaints are a really common complaint that you're gonna see that I have about most of this crypto tax software. It's really hard to go through and label these things and understand what you're looking at. Pricing wise for Coinly, for under 100 transactions, it's $49. For 1,000 transactions and under, it's $99. For 3,000 transactions and under, it's $179. and over 10,000 transactions is $279. And all these aren't like a subscription or anything, they're just like a one-time payment that you do when you go to actually file your taxes. In general, Coinly is easy to navigate, it's easy to use, and if you're just using something like Coinbase or Binance, like this is probably going to be a good fit for you and you're probably not going to have any issues whatsoever. However, there are still some reasons you might want to pick a different option. Number 2 on the list is Crypto Tax Calculator. Crypto Tax Calculator is like Coinly, but on steroids. It's like this thing's pumped up with so much roids that it is like Olympic lifting, like Arnold Schwarzenegger when it comes to, crypto tax software. This is the Arnold Schwarzenegger of crypto tax software. Let's get into some of the pros and cons. Pros are that it's a beautiful piece of software. It's really simple to navigate. It's really simple to kind of like go and do things really similarly to Coinly. It also has like a great portfolio section as well, similar to what Coinly has, but I would say that Crypto Tax Calculator's portfolio section is a little bit better than Coinly's. And unlike Coinly, with Crypto Tax Calculator, you input your address and it's going to load every transaction across all different networks you use that address with. So that was my biggest complaint about Coinly is like, hey, why do I have to manually add in all these networks? It's really annoying. I know that like there's software out there to fix this. Well, Crypto Tax Calculator has done that. They fixed that. So it's not quite as much of a pain when it comes to inputting all these wallet addresses. It's also a massive time saver. And similarly to Coinly, Crypto Tax Calculator also has tax loss harvesting to show you kind of like which cryptos you could sell to offset some of your gains. And unlike Coinly, with Crypto Tax Calculator, it's a lot easier to search through transactions and get a lot granular when it comes to like finding maybe transactions that are really important that you need to adjust. The software will also go and flag problem transactions for you to go and review, so you kind of know where to start when it comes to like fixing transactions that might be mislabeled. It's worth noting that Coinly does this too, but in my opinion, they don't do it quite as well. Integrations wise, Crypto Tax Calculator tends to work with most of the same things that Coinly works with as well. It has a really good selection and I didn't have any issues when it came to that. Although one issue I had with both Coinly and Crypto Tax Calculator was their lack of support for Cosmos-based chains, so things like Celestia and Akash. Overall, I feel like Crypto Tax Calculator is a much better version of Coinly that has a lot more features and is a lot easier to use and is a lot more well suited for somebody who actually transacts on chain and does a lot more complicated stuff. Now let's get into the cons of Crypto Tax Calculator because of course there are some cons. First off, similarly to Coinly, it can be really tough to label transactions that you don't like know what they are. So I'll go through, I'll see a transaction that it warned me about, like, hey, fix this transaction, and I'm trying to figure out what this transaction is. It's really difficult for me to kind of know what that is. They give you tools like context where it'll show you kind of what was done around that transaction. So like kind of gives you some sort of insight into what that transaction might be. But still, I found myself oftentimes having to go to Block Explorer, look through my notes and try to kind of piece together what this transaction might have been. And because of this, it would often take just an hour to go through a handful of transactions. So basically, it doesn't intuitively help you identify what these transactions are. It kind of gives you like, boom, here's a different way of looking at this database. Try to piece together what these transactions might be, but we're not going to really help too much in that area. Again, though, if you're just primarily transacting on exchanges and you're doing just really simple stuff on chain, like you're swapping on Uniswap every so often, or maybe you staked somewhere, this really isn't going to be a big issue for you. Like for most people, I feel like this would work really well. Crypto Tax Calculator is going to be a great solution and you're really not going to have a huge problem with it. Pricing wise, Crypto Tax Calculator is $49 for basic users who aren't doing very much on chain. It's $99 for on-chain users with 1,000 transactions or less. It's $249 for all features and 10,000 transactions or less. And it's $499 for 100,000 transactions or less. Unlike Coinly, this is positioned as an annual membership versus like a one-time payment, but in reality, they're kind of the same thing because both of them you just pay once a year. So they're essentially the same thing, just kind of like called different things. Next up is token tax. This was actually recommended to me by a member of the Obsidian Council. They said it was their favorite tax software to use. I should check it out. And so that's why I'm adding it to this review, which by the way, we sold out of all new membership slots for the Obsidian Council in just a few hours after opening, and it is now closed again. If you want to join the waitlist so you can jump in next time it opens back up, there's a link in the description of this video. Token tax is really unique and it might be a good fit for some people because it has a unique feature where you can hire a professional from Token Tax to do your taxes for you. Now, when it comes to just like briefly looking through Token Tax, again, full disclosure, I haven't actually used it to do my own taxes, just briefly kind of perused through it. When it comes to the actual tax software part, I would say that Coinly and Crypto Tax Calculator would probably be better options when it comes to that. Feature-wise, they have pretty basic features. They do have tax loss harvesting, which I guess is good, but where they really shine and really the only reason they're on this list is their done for you taxes. With this option, they support every chain, every platform, exchange, etc. And they do everything for you so that you don't have to worry about anything. So for somebody who doesn't want to have to worry about their crypto taxes and just wants to hire a professional to do it for them, this is a really great option. However, it comes a bit on the pricey side. It's around $2,999 plus extra fees if you use certain chains, which they don't disclose what the certain chains are. I don't know what they are. So again, this isn't for everyone, but I'm sure for the right person, this service could be a lifesaver. Next up is Coin Tracker. This one used to be in the just like okay category, but they recently did a revamp, and now I'd put it more in line with something like Coinly. In fact, I'd actually say maybe it's a little bit better than Coinly. They've added a similar feature to Crypto Tax Calculator where when you're adding in your wallets, you paste your address and it'll load all chains that use that address, which is amazing. Again, a huge time saver. And I can't stress enough that when you have a lot of wallets, this is just like an amazing feature to have. It also, in my opinion, has a slightly better system when it comes to flagging transactions and updating them. So I'd put this one above Coinly, but under Crypto Tax Calculator. After that, we have Zenledger. Zenledger, I would put under every single project that we've talked about so far. It just isn't my favorite piece of crypto tax software. It feels really clunky, and honestly, in my opinion, it's not even worth diving into in this video. Last up is Awaken, and this is my absolute favorite crypto tax software in 2024. At first glance, when it comes to Awaken, the UI isn't as nice as something like Coinly or something like Crypto Tax Calculator. They have no dashboard and they don't have a tax loss harvesting feature either. Initially, I almost skipped this one because it looks so basic at first, but I decided to give it a try and it absolutely blew my mind. Upon loading my wallets in, it was again similar to Crypto Tax Calculator where you put in one address and it loads all your different transactions and all your different holdings across all different blockchains that address uses. Which of course, again, is an amazing feature that all of these crypto tax softwares should have. They also had more integrations for more chains than anyone else, including things like Osmosis, Celestia, Akash, and more. Although I will highlight, when it came to those ones, they were essentially linking you to a workaround so that you could get your transactions from those addresses and then import them into the platform. And now that I know this workaround exists, you could technically do the same thing when it came to Coinly or Crypto Tax Calculator. But the point being that I didn't know that this existed because Crypto Tax Calculator and Coinly didn't tell me. Awaken, though, went out of their way to be intuitive and create a button that just directly linked to this workaround so that I could go and load these transactions into the platform. They even had video tutorials for different exchanges showing you exactly what to do, and so you can load your transactions from those exchanges into Awaken. Again, which wasn't revolutionary or anything, but it was just a little bit more effort applied to help users more easily and intuitively load these transactions into the platform. Now, the real magic happens with Awaken when it comes to labeling transactions and correcting issues. Compared to the other crypto tax softwares I've talked about so far, it is a night and day difference and extremely intuitive. First off, they actually separate the high priority, biggest impact issues from all of the other issues you need to correct, which this was a lifesaver for me. Most platforms simply give you just a massive list of transactions you need to fix, but there's no distinction between the really high impact ones that will like heavily affect your tax bill and the ones that are just pretty much so small that they're almost meaningless, which is extremely helpful when you know something is off, but you don't know where to look to find the thing that is messing up your taxes. Second, you can categorize your transactions by the ones that are causing the biggest gains or losses. This is really helpful when you know something is off and you're trying to figure out what it is. The thing about crypto taxes is it's really complicated and difficult, and especially as the space changes, new things come out, protocols release like new feature sets, the crypto tax software can really struggle to label transactions properly. Sometimes it doesn't know a swap was a swap, or it doesn't know that you're staking a token, or sometimes it thinks you're trading a token when you're just staking it, and all kinds of weird things like that. For example, every piece of crypto tax software that I tried didn't understand what was happening when it came to cow swap transactions. It didn't know that I was buying and selling tokens, and so all of those transactions were mislabeled. Awaken made it really, really simple to find these transactions and properly label them. They even gave hints on certain transactions, saying things like, hint, the smart contract said the word redeem, or hint, the smart contract said the word transfer. And then when it had a transaction that it didn't know what it was, when you actually went to label the transaction, it would highlight the different options that it thought that transaction might be, which made so much sense to me. If the platform can label most of the transactions, then it probably has a good idea on what the unlabeled transactions might be. And it's really helpful and useful to tell the user what those transactions might be, because that gives the user some insight into helping label those transactions. They also made it stupid easy to understand what each label meant. Other platforms assume that you'll just somehow magically know what a staking swap is and how that's different from a lending swap and how that's different from a lend and borrow and how that's different from a withdrawal swap. It's really confusing unless you're like an expert user of this software. You probably have no idea what the differences between those things are. Where all the other crypto tax software solutions felt like Excel or something where I had to be like this expert to be able to use this software, Awaken, by contrast, was extremely easy and intuitive to use. The most insane part about Awaken right now that I didn't even know when I was like going to use this software is that it's actually completely free to use all the way up until March 1st, 2024. And I actually thought this was a gimmick at first to get people to sign up, and I didn't even care about all that. I was like, man, this is the best software I've ever used. I'll happily pay money to use this software because it's so amazing. But it turns out it genuinely is completely free up until March 1st. There's no exceptions if you had too many transactions or used too many blockchains. It wasn't a gimmick. It's genuinely 100% free until March 1st, 2024. Now, there was one con to using this software that I should mention, and that was that it was having trouble loading up my Kraken transactions and loading up my Coinbase transactions. I was guessing that maybe they're like overwhelmed because they're doing this whole thing like it's free till March 1st, so a lot of people are using the software, so it was just like struggling to load those transactions. I ended up sending an email to support. It's been about a week. I haven't heard back yet, but it's definitely not a deal breaker for me. I'm pretty confident that I'll end up sorting this out, but it is worth mentioning. Okay, so on to ranking. First off, the best software. For those who primarily use Coinbase and Binance, I'm gonna have to say this one goes to Crypto Tax Calculator. I probably would say Awaken since it's literally free till March 1st, but because I'm specifically having trouble loading in my exchange transactions from Kraken and Coinbase, I'm gonna have to, because of that, give this to Crypto Tax Calculator. Second up would be the best tax software for advanced on-chain users who transact across multiple wallets and multiple blockchains, etc. Obviously, for this one, my pick is going to be Awaken. Third up, the best software if you want to pay someone else to do your crypto taxes for you. This one by default is going to go to Token Tax because none of these other softwares do anything like that. And finally, the coveted prize, best overall, is gonna of course go to Awaken. I have links in the description of this video for each of these different tax softwares. I am of course trying to get an affiliate link for Awaken. If I do end up getting that, I'll make sure in the description of this video to clearly label that so you understand that that's an affiliate link. As always, if this video is helpful, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any crypto tax software that I missed, or if any of these end up being really helpful for you, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell next to it to be notified each time I release a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.